Hi, both of you, and hi, everyone. Welcome to today's guests, Serenko and Mark. Shall we do a quick introduction from each of you? Perhaps Mark first. You want to say hi?
Yes, thank you, Dan. Mark, I'm a head of product at Nym. I joined Nym about 6 months ago to lead the efforts on the VPN front, so bringing that from an idea to a finished product. And I have a background in product and more like classical setups in fintech, e-commerce, mobility, etc.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us today. How about you, Serenko? Do you want to introduce yourself to our Twitter audience?
All right. Hello, everyone. This is my first Twitter space I've been ever taken in. I would not think that this is going to ever happen to me, but here we go. Life is a challenge. I'm a privacy enthusiast and practitioner by nature due to, my interest in anti-surveillance and in freedom in general, and have been working as a developer in Nym together with Max. My main work is to be bridging our architecture, the components of Nym Mixnet with the operators who running case components and these servers on their machines and make it easier for the through documentation at different AMAs, like one we're gonna do in half an hour, everyone's welcome, and stuff as such, and testing got to be myself. So that's my work and Nym. Good to be here.
Thank you for the intro, guys. Can't wait to hear from you. We also have our head of community, Sudo, and the listeners. I can see. Not sure if he's actually listening to us, but hi to Sudo as well, and to all our other audience and members of the community. So today is all about the NymVPN. We're going to give an update on what's been going on, what's to be expected. As you know, we've recently announced about the closed alpha launch, which is supposed to launch in February. So that's all very exciting news, but we want some more details. So that's why Mark and Serenko are here today. I'll get started with my first question. Could you give us a quick recap of the most significant developments in the NymVPN over the past few months overall? So maybe Mark can take that one.
Yes, so NymVPN basically is building on top of the previous app that Nym had developed, which was called Nym Connect, which allowed to access the Mixnet with a few selected apps that were allow listed, different crypto wallets, or a few messaging apps like Telegrams. And basically, NymVPN is extending that to both the entire network stack, but also offering both a 5-hop Mixnet mode and a 2-hop VPN mode. So what the team has done over the past few months is to basically rebuild Nym Connect apps for all platforms. So not only on desktop, but also on mobile, so with Android and iOS, which are coming up very soon, but also extend that 5-hop Mixnet to allow it to capture the full online stack of the users, and also extend, have a faster setup using only a 2-hop VPN mode. So this is what we've done so far, along with building all the operations, the marketing, and the VPN website that is live since November last year. I don't know, Serenko, since you've been here for a long time, do you want to give any more details about what we've done?
Now, I might chip in on other later questions. I actually joined him just, I think, maybe 2 months before you. Max is the senior in the whole DevRel sphere. However, yeah, it's quite some time where one can catch quite a bit, and I've been following it since before, but you're like the lead on this entire client. So I'll go more over when we come to the questions around testing, support of people who want to do the testing, and some technical details.
Yes, no worries, of course. And thank you, Mark, for the quick recap. We have quite a few features that we announced already. And what are the latest enhancements we could expect in the NymVPN, and how will they improve user experience in the future?
Yes, so we're going to release NymVPN quite soon. In the beginning, users should expect something quite basic, because the goal is really to get a product with a great UX, but that offers a bare minimum feature and that's working and provided the user the value they expect. So the main benefits that users will have over classic VPNs is that NymVPN will be fully decentralized. So we'll offer a better level of privacy than typical VPNs out there, but also we'll offer access to the Mixnet mode, which is something completely unique to Nym, which will allow you for the most private use cases like crypto transactions, messaging, emails, etc., to route that through a very secure 5-hop network route, basically. And that's completely unique in the VPN value proposition.
Yes, and we actually had a live demo recently. Serenko will tell us more about it very soon. But yes, I would also like to hear from you, Mark, about because we hear all about features of the NymVPN upcoming and what to expect and what's been done so far, but we don't get a lot of behind the scenes kind of stories, how the development process is like, what kind of challenges the team face, and how do you overcome these challenges. I would love to get some insight into the background of the whole work, basically.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there is nothing much to say. So the team is working with 2 separate streams. So there's one stream working on the apps and the website, and one stream working on the core of the network. And when it comes to the apps, I mean, there's not crazy challenges. I mean, it's typical tech development with ups and downs and bugs and things you fix. But this is going quite well. On the network stack, I would say things are a bit more unproven because the what we're trying to launch is like really new, because it's like really novel value proposition. And I would say the main challenge we're facing is what we have already mentioned in an Ask Me Anything a couple of weeks ago, which is the optimizing basically the speed and the latency of the network. And the team is working really hard on that to make sure that we can offer an experience that matches what users experience with other VPNs and DVPNs.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sirenko, do you want to add on as well?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll also chip in with the last question a little bit. One thing, I mean, this is a Twitter space. It's listed for quite a short time, so we can't go over everything definitely, and I'm sure Mark will mention it too. However, I think one of a niche feature we should mention at least a little bit is that the way how the payment is sorted, right? Because it is incentivized, therefore people are incentivized to run the nodes, which should support larger decentralization of network and the growth of these nodes. It shouldn't stop just by a few enthusiasts kind of like running it in their cabinet. And that comes with a solution, but it comes with a massive problem. And the massive problem is linkability of payments with the usage. And we're solving this by some deep crypto research. And when I say crypto, I mean cryptographic ZK knowledge proofs, ZK credentials, we call it ZK NIMs, which basically ensures that the way you pay for that, for your usage and for your bandwidth, is unlinkable with your usage itself. That means that there is randomization, but also of each of the time you connect into the Enter gateway. So no one can tell, okay, this person is Sirenko, is the person who paid in whatever, some fiat, Bitcoin, name, what have you out there. I don't know what all kind of options will be out there listed. And that's the same person who is using VPN. And because of decentralization and issuance of these by the validators, there is no way that there is one provider kind of holding that information in the first place. So whether we would want to give it to somebody or not, we just cannot simply buy the code. And I think that's quite a difference between that and most of the VPNs you have out there. That comes to this question, which was on the challenges or, the insights. Yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into that, but the naming itself was obviously a slight source of healthy tension within the organization. Every time I go up on stage or places like this, I've been just, for like a better word, pooping on the term VPN. And then a few months later, we come out with, hey, we introducing VPN, which is fun, So it's, I think, the understanding what we try to what we mean by the concept, what that term really means, but what it actually, the decentralization and the virtual private service actually is, right? So what meaning we give to that naming. But that discussion was quite interesting. I wasn't taking a massive part of that. I might have some opinion, other people might have different opinions, but I think this is to give a little bit of insights to people listening. This is an interesting one. Another challenge is definitely the privacy versus speed, because for what we're doing to adding latency is an anonymizing feature of the mixnet, right? That makes sure that no one can time correlate the volume with the time of entry and exit data. But at the same time, the last thing a user on the internet wants is their traffic to go with delay, right? And this conflict will be forever. This is a dialectic relation between privacy and speed. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges we try to solve and find different optionalities for different usages, while at the same time staying to the privacy, which, coming out of anti-surveillance background, we promising, while at the same time, have actually any usability on some sort of speed without too much of delay.
Thank you for that, Sirenko. That's really interesting to hear about the work of kind of behind the scenes, and it is really difficult to do. And you actually recently showcased the NymVPN at CCC in Germany, in Hamburg. That was end of December last year. you showed a demo of the NymVPN Alpha I think you went on YouTube using the 5-hop mixnet and the 2-hop decentralized VPN. So could you share with us how was the response from that?
Oh, I'm still strategist. You mentioned that because anytime there is live demo and you say it's gonna be live on YouTube, I'm like, I always go, well, what can go wrong, right? If we do a live demo online to the entire world. We were super lucky. We did testing with Jaya got really sick that morning, a little behind the scene as well, and are feeling kind of well. And then we did testing and like, well, it kind of somehow goes. It's okay to present. And then we hit it in not the best internet ever in the venue, and the numbers were the best I've done ever since doing anything on a mixnet. So, I'm knocking the table. So this is going to be always we do demo. Otherwise, for like the event, I mean, CCC has a specific culture, which I really like. And I'm coming more from that background as well. So it's not necessarily like a place to promote NymVPN per se as like, to come out as like an application or product, but it's more like a nice challenge to connect it as like an existing or like a new client, which is made to the development of existing NIM mix that you just presented there 4 years before the event, and connect also with the operators, connect with people doing around Tor. There is big Tor community, which we are friends with. We all have same goal. We not trying to beat each other down. In fact, we have a lot of stuff to learn from Tor. So yeah, it went well. It's been interesting, and it was the first one, and only that was kind of like to see how the next demos and workshops, which we know listing and starting to do with the community and the core community, will go.
Yes, thank you. And if anyone wants to watch the video of the demo, we actually have that on our YouTube. I also posted it on our Twitter account before, but I don't think everyone has seen it, but it's really interesting to look at. Mark, you weren't at CCC yourself, but you did collect data from our presence there and all the testing we did. So could you share with us some key takeaways that we gathered from the event?
Yes, so I wasn't there in person, so I cannot give detailed insights on how it went. I understand there was lots of excitement about the mixnet, because this is really like the novel value proposition. So next to the ZK-based payment that Serinko mentioned. But yeah, overall, I mean, there's some excitement from the survey we run. So we have two types of survey open. So we have surveys through the waitlist users that we have rallied, to which we're basically asking what are their privacy and online security habits, and what are their habits when it comes to VPNs, what are the pain points they experience, and so on. So we have a good idea of what's broken today with the VPN market, and what we need to, or what we can change, and what we can do differently. And then next to that, we're running after every workshop some more like detailed questions about how is the install process, how did people, when they play with NymVPN, how was their experience with the two different modes? Were they able to, as you said, watch a video or send a message or do the things they do typically in VPNs? And yeah, I mean, so far the feedback, I would say, is positive, but also in line with the level of maturity of the product, which is still a bit slow and broken. So yeah, it's overall lots of excitement about the mixnet, and then feedback that reflects the maturity of the product. But we're making big improvements every day. So I'm confident that by the launch, we'll have something that matches with user expectations, and will be very exciting for everyone.
Yes, thank you so much. It was super interesting insights to gather from all the developers and hackers over there at the conference. By the way, I'm quite curious about whether anyone here is on the NymVPN waitlist, actually. If you're on the wait list, please can you give a little heart emoji if you can find it? That would be good to know. And if you're not on the wait list, please do go register if you're interested. It's on nymvpn.com. I have posted about it in my previous tweet, so it's quite easy to find. But if you get on that wait list, yeah, thank you. You'll be able to take part in the private launch coming up very soon. So yeah, Mark, in terms of this kind of upcoming private launch, what can we expect about the Alpha NymVPN in terms of updates to look forward to, or how users are going to get through that closed launch?
We're currently defining the different launch cohorts that we're going to work with. So currently all the products are in internal testing. Some are a bit more advanced than the others, especially the Linux and macOS apps that we have demoed are a bit more advanced than the Windows, iOS, and Android ones. So we'll launch with these two, and then open up the three others a bit later. Then when it comes to the cohort, so we're currently doing internal testing. We'll probably open initially to the very close friends of NIM. So the people that have been operating nodes for a very long time and operating validators nodes for a long time with us, so they can get a sense of how the VPN looks and feels and provide feedback. And then, as you said, we have a waitlist, which I encourage all of you to join, on which we have rallied lots of interest, and we'll basically qualify people based on their participation in the survey and different engagement that we sent them. And yeah, basically we'll open the alpha in different tiers, invite a few dozens or a few hundred people in batches, and then whenever we hit certain maturity thresholds and we're happy with the state of the app and with the state of the network, and that things are scaling well, then we'll invite the next batch. And the idea is that we start sending the invites in February, and then by end of March, we'll be done with inviting everyone on the waitlist. So we'll invite people every week or every 2 weeks in different batches. And that's that. And then what to expect. So in the beginning, we'll have access to the apps and the network. It will be a free access. So we'll let people, either we'll send credentials to everyone or let people directly generate the credentials on our website. It will be free in the beginning. It will be time limited. And then as soon as we reach a certain level of maturity where we're happy with the product, then we'll switch to a discounted paid product with a level of discount to be defined. But yeah, and then probably later in the summer, we'll have a full-blown launch.
Wow, thank you. So I dropped the link to sign up to the waitlist in the comments for anyone interested. My next question is for both of you, Mark and Sirenko. How important is user feedback in the development of the NymVPN? What does it actually do when you get user to test the product and you get the feedback? How do you take it and how do you apply it?
Yeah, so getting feedback is super important for 2 reasons. I mean, by feedback, I mean direct qualitative feedback for 2 reasons. So we're an early stage product, so there is not many data points that we have. So that's why having actually people telling us about their impressions and their experience is super important. And 2, given that we're a privacy first, a product that operates in a privacy first environment, we cannot track the hell out of the users, and that's part of the value proposition. So it means we don't have the same level of tracking and data analytics that you may have in a typical product, which means that also qualitative feedback is also very important because it helps us understand what people experience, what are the issues they have, or what features they would love to get built into the NymVPN. So we have defined a process where basically the feedback that gets submitted through Matrix, Discord, social media, or by email gets funneled basically to a triage process where we make sure that all the feedback is collected, synthesized, and makes its way eventually in the roadmap. Sirenko, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, but mostly focus on getting the feedback to the testing itself, right? So my question is how to make it easier for people to download, verify the binary, install, and run it to be able to test it. There's been some difficulties which have been tweaking into the guide, but at the same time, at this stage of maturity, there is certain threshold of a very basic command line literacy for the people who want to join the alpha testing workshops. At the moment, we do all that on a sandbox testing environment, which is a full-on version of the mixnet, but it's of course safer to use for the testing at this stage. So there is documentation, there's documentation live in our developers portal in tech.net/developers. However, if you're gonna follow it outside of these events, which Mark's been mentioning, it might not work for you because for now the credentials to connect to it and to use it are issued by us as it's testing and not by the validators because no one's paying for that, right? So we just turn it off in times when when these events are happening, so we can have kind of a good outcome of this testing, and it's not just random people trying random things in different times.
Yes, thank you both. We do have a question from the community. Thank you, Sudo, for dropping in the question. I think, our designer is not here yet, but I think Mark can answer this. Does the NymVPN logo have any meaning?
Yes, it does, and we're yet to release a blog post about that very soon. So the initial meaning is meant to be more of an eclipse, where you see 2 planets, or 1 planet and 1 star, and then one hiding the other. And the meaning is the meaning of that eclipse, which is you basically have something that hides something else. And we believe that it related well with the concept of NymVPN, which basically hides something from prying eyes. And then next to that, like another meaning, depending on how you see the logo, could be also of a cylinder or a tube, which also relates well with the fact that the VPN sometimes is called like a tunnel. So depending on how you look at the logo, you may have like these different meanings, and that's why it was chosen among different propositions.
Yes, thank you so much. We're going to be wrapping up soon. So one last question for you guys. Looking ahead, what is the vision for NymVPN for this year, this upcoming year? What major goals are you aiming to achieve?
Yeah, so for this year, the goal is really to launch NymVPN and turn it into a paid product. And we have certain ambitions in terms of the numbers of users we want to get on the product. We do have certain ambitions in terms of the features, in terms of geographies we want to expand into. So more on that later. But yeah, basically the ambition is that ultimately we want them to be a bit of a privacy as a service, a platform where we get to build like all kinds of apps on top of the privacy infrastructure that all the operators are running with us. And basically we want to prove that NymVPN is the first of these apps to be built. We want it to be successful and eventually use that to fund like other ventures and apps that we'll build on top of them.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that. I want to add on that the link to join a waitlist is in the comments. And if you haven't, or if you're joining the waitlist soon, we do, I believe, Mark, that's right. We do send an email afterwards to everyone with a form with questions to answer about the NymVPN, about preferences, feedback, and everything. And that's really helpful for us, right?
Yes, correct. Like as soon as you sign up for the waitlist, you'll be asked to share, like optionally, to share your online privacy and security habits, the VPNs you use today, and the pain points you experience with them. And all of that is super helpful for us to better understand our audience and make sure that we have a very relevant product.
It's a very easy form to fill in, and it's super helpful to us. So if you haven't filled it in yet, it would be amazing if you could do so. Thank you so much, everyone. Anything else, Sirinko and Mark? Thank you so much for coming on. Okay, sorry, we do have one more question from the community. Thank you, Sudo.
I want to apologize myself and the run as starting Nym Operators MA. So thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm pretty sure that you, Mark, and potential Studio can handle this great. I'm very happy to be part of creating this rather simple tool for a very complex problem, helping people use the internet tool for free communication network. So thank you so much, and you all keep going for as long as it's needed, and talk to you all soon.
Thank you, Sirinko. Yes, please do go. We do have the Operators AMA starting now. That's on our Discord channel. Okay, so oh yes, so many happenings, I know. I'll just give the last question to Mark then. Which quarter of the year is the NymVPN expected to go live?
So the alpha version is going to go live this quarter. So as mentioned, we want to send the invites starting February, so starting like the next month. So please wait a few more weeks as we iron out the bugs and fix some issues with the speed and latency. And then we'll be like gradually going from alpha to a free beta and then a paid beta, hopefully throughout Q1. And then if we want the full launch to happen in late Q2 or beginning of Q3.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So we have the Operators AMA starting now on meet.nymtech.ch, Nym Operators AMA. I'm going to quote retweet this announcement very soon, right as we finish this space. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming on, and thank you everyone for listening in. This has been recorded, so you can re-listen to it anytime you want. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Dan, for moderating. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.